ask them again. Will bingo proceeds be paid $1,000?
I don't understand.
Will the proceeds from bingo, will the $1,000 that we are providing them as upfront money, will that be reimbursed back to the association?
Yes, yeah, I believe we discussed it. Yes, Bob. Yeah, definitely all 1,000 will come back to the association out of the profits for the first year bingo.
Okay. I think they've all been answered, but I'm just going to ask them for the sake of completeness. Does the association retain net proceeds?
Of bingo?
Yeah.
No.
You said no. Right.
The bingo is self-sufficient, and Janice just made a good point, just reminded me. Bingo is encouraging us to charge as much rent as we possibly can, because that is allowed. They are allowed to pay rent for the room. So I'm not saying we're going to charge $1,000 rent, but we can charge rent, and that's the way bingo can give money back to the association to help her pay for the tables and things like that they need. We can't buy that for them. They can't buy that, but they can give us room rent that's going to be profitable for Heritage Finds and help with us.
Would doing so require a gaming license?
There is a Pasco County license. And that's how we got around forming the 501c. It is a Pasco County license which Joanne is in the process of filling out.
I have some questions regarding the budget. What's the definition of other revenue? The third bullet down, the third agenda item.
Yeah, this work. Yeah. The other revenue consists. This came up. I forget what meeting we were. Oh, the council village meeting. There's a lot of small items, such as the money that the villages pay the association for Kim to manage their associations. We get money for that. That's included in other. We get some money for RV storage. The people who have the recreation vehicles when they park outside there, we get money for that. So it's miscellaneous type of items. They're nothing in and of itself of significance, but we can add them all up. All of the member services. So, for instance, as I mentioned at the council village meeting, when we had the Elton John concert, there was no food for that, but the money for that went into other revenue. So it's those kind of things.
Number 5. Has proposal to issue fines been approved by the association's attorney? Let me go through the whole list of questions here. What happens when residents refuse to pay? Will they be stopped at the gate from coming in or going out? Will a lien be placed on their homes? Will they be barred from the clubhouse? Has a real effort been made to gain compliance through education and enlightenment as the responsibilities of community living?
The fines are courtesy measures that are a policy that can be set by the board. We already have fines that for architectural review, for instance. If you don't comply with something on your house, and we send you a letter and you don't fix it, you are subject to fines. And this is Florida Statute 720, $100 maximum up to $1,000 up to 10 times. So yes, it's legal. I don't know how much more exhaustive we could be with trying to get people to stop speeding. We put numerous articles in the newsletter. We sent numerous emails. Chuck and I have stood out on Grand Club, on Heritage Point, on a couple of other our streets in here with the truck, with a security truck, the lights on with a radar. And when Chuck does it, it's not real as effective as when I go out there. We tend to make hand gestures to Chuck. But when I'm out there with them, they won't. They come back and they want to know if we're going to find them. So we tell them no, it's a first offense. The problem is we haven't found anybody. So there's no, in my opinion, as your general manager, there's no teeth in this ordinance. They're not afraid of anything. If all we do is warn them, it's just like the parking in the handicap over here. We have people like Skip in a scooter, Bruce is in a wheelchair, and they come up here in their vehicles and they don't have that area to get in and out of their car. When someone feels like because they have a handicap sticker, they park in there. This has happened. They've been trapped where they had to go find the people and get them to move so they can get in their car. We've been writing tickets for over a year, and it hasn't helped. It's worse now than it's ever. It's because it's season. So we need to put teeth in that to the collection issue. It's just like if we find an individual when they have an ARC issue or there's a discipline issue. What we intend to do is, Marcia and I set this up. We don't want to create a bunch of havoc for the accounting staff. So we're going to send them a letter telling them what the situation was. We're going to tell them that their fine is $25, $50, or $75 based on the severity, and if it's the second, third, or fourth time. Tell them they have 14 days to pay the fine. Two things are going to happen if they don't pay the fine. First, we're going to turn off their stickers, so they're going to have to start using the guest lane. They're not going to be able to use the resident lane any longer. So that, as you well know, the inconvenience of going to that guest lane, especially when it's busy during the day, that is a significant inconvenience. We think that alone will probably end up paying. At that point, if they don't do it, we're just going to tell them we're going to put it in collections. We're going to put it on their account, and then if it goes 90 days, we're just going to put it through collections. So we are going to go after it, but we're doing it individually. The way we're going to have it set up is D, one of our front office people is going to have a spreadsheet. We're going to track it on that so we don't get Marcia involved, so we don't get Karen involved, and it doesn't start clogging up the financial situations when people don't pay.
For Bob for the video.
With all the expansion that we have going on and the increased traffic coming up to the clubhouse, have you looked into increasing the handicap parking? Because it is becoming such a big issue, and it's getting so limited. As we're going older and more issues are happening in the community, it's becoming more and more of a need.
Yes, when I first got here 3 years ago, Gary and I knew that was an issue, and he and I talked about it. And at that time, we added 4 additional spots in that down lower parking lot. Now we're going to go look at it. Construction's mobilizing there, but the spaces across from the ones we just put up, we're considering going there and putting 4 more in behind those. So it's not as close as the ones up top, but it still isn't a very far walk from there to get into the side of the clubhouse. So once the construction's over, we don't want to do it now because of the staging area. It would severely limit what the non-handicapped people, where they can park. Right now, even at busy events, they're out on the street parking. So yes, we're going to put in 4 more, right? 4 more. Behind the 4 in the lower sales parking lot, there'll be 4 more handicap parking in there. We're looking across the street, but that's too far away.
Bill, I have a quick question on the speeding and the fines. It's an old question that the speed limit signs, particularly on Water Lily, they're still using that area to come in the back gate to connect to other parts of the community as a raceway.
I'll let Gary answer that. He and I are working on that.
Yeah, within probably a week or 2, you'll have the sign will be up. Yeah, 15 miles an hour is what it's going to be.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Right where you turn off from Heritage Point on Water Lily.
Yes.
Yeah, right in that, right after that backflow.
I'd like to go back to the budget, please. We can bring that back up.
Yep.
First, I'd like to refer to item 2, lowering golf course and common ground expenses. I think that's a misrepresentation because golf course, lowering golf course expenses is wrong. It's going up $100,000, $28,000, and I think it should be listed as that. That's my first question. Let me finish, and you can answer them all. I sent you a letter today. I'm sure you got it by now of my views on this new adjusted budget, which I disagree with. I would like the question answered to me why and how all of a sudden we went from 65% of the Valley Crest contract assigned to golf course and 35% was assigned to common grounds, and now today it's 79% for the golf course and 21% for common ground. And even more so than that it's such a surprise and lands on us 2 to 3 days before you're going to budget. So I'd like to have a response from the board on how to handle that one. I also would like a response on my views that we had a 95,000 shortage in revenue on prepaid, but yet we're still continuing on saying that the green fees for pay-as-you-go and green fees for non-members coming in is still going to have a 25% increase on pay-as-you-go and a 24% increase on green fees. I find that unreasonable, and I think it should be passed. Those are my questions. I'd like an answer.
Okay, I don't know if I can remember all the questions, but I'll go through those if I remember, then you can let me know. In terms of lowering golf course and common grounds expenses, where that comes from is we just signed a contract with Valley Crest for golf course and common grounds expenses or work, okay? That contract came in $80,000 less than what we had in the 2011 budget. So that item there refers to, we're going to take, well, that's an annual number, the 80,000. We expect it to be effective March 1st. So the 10-month effect of that would be lowering our expenses by about $73,000. So that's where that comes from. In terms of your question about how did we go from 65-35 to 79-21. Valley Crest contract, we asked them specifically in this contract to tell us how much work are they doing on the golf course, bill us separately for the golf course, how much work you're doing on common grounds, bill us separately for common grounds. The answer to that question came in through the contract. That 79% of the work that they do is for the golf course. 21% is for common grounds. The 65-35 came about as a result in 2005. I also was around for negotiating the 2005 contract with Valley Crest. We asked the same question in 2005. Tell us how much work you're doing for the golf course. Tell us how much work you're doing for common grounds. Back then, the allocation was 72% common golf course, 28% common grounds. That was a 3-year contract which should have gotten us through April of 2008. In 2007, the allocation was changed from 72% golf or 71% golf down to 65% golf. As far as I know, there is no documentation for that change. Somebody just made it, that's what happened. So that's how we got to the 65-35. In the last meeting we had with Valley Crest, I specifically asked, when it came in at 79%, why did it go up from 71%? And they just said, we're just doing more work. It was never 65%. What was the other question?
My other question was about the 2 increases in anticipated revenues from pay-as-you-go and from green fees from members that yes,
We decreased
about
that.
25 and 24%.
Yeah, we decreased that in 2010.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand the question.
The budget.
Show that. Adjusted budget for green fees has gone up to $163,000 versus $147,000 last year.
I'm sorry, between $16,000 increase. This reflects an 11% increase on top of a 15% increase in pricing. I believe it's overly aggressive, just like I believe that the prepaid was overly aggressive. And I'm asking it not to be passed under its present form. That's too aggressive. And the same question applies to the green fee for guests. It's a 24% increase over last year, and I don't see how you can accomplish it.
Okay, I'm still not sure I understand the question, but when we did the budget this year, we purposely increased the expected results for the prepaid based on the fact that we were following the amenity analysis recommendations to lower the fee in expectation that by lowering that fee, we would get more prepaid, more seasonal people to sign up. That did not happen. So